Hello, class. So this is 451, 551. I'm Amy. Please call me Amy, but if I know some folks that make you a little uncomfortable, so professor's fine. I'm also Dr. Langbo, but I'm fine with Amy if you're fine with that. I really do believe that I've got lots to learn from you. That's something exciting every semester. Different ways of thinking, things related to math, unrelated to math, outside of class. But also, I hope by the end that we'll also be colleagues that may work together on research projects. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk more about the class. 451, 551, optimization. So I got my degree, my PhD in a field called operations research. Not so many folks know about that. It is a type of, I usually describe it as a type of applied math. We'll talk a little bit more about that throughout the semester, but the short of it is that it got the name operations research actually referred to military operations. So in the 40s and 50s, a guy named George Danzig was one of the main people working for the government. He came up with this field of linear programming, and we're going to spend a lot of time this semester talking about linear programming, type of general mathematical programming. Programming might be a little bit of a misnomer because people think computer programming, but this was even before that. So it's really more just a algorithm, you might say, like a mathematical algorithm to solve a certain class of problems called linear programs. You'll know those very well in just a couple weeks, actually, and certainly by the end of the class. I did my graduate work at NC State. I was in the OR degree, just getting my master's, and I decided to stick around and get a PhD in that. Most schools, you can't get an operations research degree at the undergraduate level. It's only at the graduate. So many people come from math or computer science, largely math, computer science, data science. OR is kind of like a data science before there was data science as well. A little bit more math and rigor to it, maybe a little less statistics and CS. Then I stayed on there and did a postdoc at NC State. I really wanted to work with a guy named Carl Meyer, who was my mentor there for my postdoc, because I had one day in one page of his 1,000-page book, he had something about information retrieval. And I read that and then came to him with questions, started coming to his office every week, reading papers, trading ideas. And so during that postdoc, I stuck around and learned how search engines, like a library search engine or Google, work. And so I got into the mathematics of ranking. And that's kind of been my field since. I then from there came down to CFC. This was my first academic job. I taught while I was at NC State and then at CFC since. I've done quite a bit of consulting for different companies. We'll probably talk about that over the semester too. So that's a fun part of my job as an applied mathematician or an OR specialist, a very applied person. It's very natural to do that interaction with industry, working on problems that are real, less abstract, but have a client, basically. I've written a couple research books. The first one came soon after my postdoc. It was called Google's PageRank and Beyond, and it's how web search engines work. And then I wrote another one called Who's Number One? That was about the science and mathematics of rating and ranking in general, not just applied to the web, but any other thing like US News and World Report, college rankings, ranking of sports teams. I've consulted for a lot of sports teams, including the US Olympic Committee. Read that book, and then the last question is like, hey, how do I rank these skiers, or which athletes should we fund? Which ones should we put more time into getting extra nutrition or massage or other health things? Let's see, what else? Yeah, and so I've taught this class now every other year since I've been here, so it's probably going on my 9th or 10th time teaching this class. I love it. It's really because it's closest to my work and my research. It's my specialization. I'm the only OR person in the department. And so that means you guys are my colleagues more so than my actual folks in the math department. So training you folks, and then we can work on some neat projects together. What else? You've probably heard, like, if you've heard things about me or had class with me, you know that I'm known as a creative educator. I really focus on making sure you understand the material. There does tend to be some work, though, a good bit of work, but folks always say I'm It might be tough in that there's a lot of work, but it's always like meaningful work, and I'm always fair, very fair grader. This class, 451, 551, is one class in one of the main classes in our OR certificate. So if you're interested, you like this kind of stuff, we have had many students that do, they like it, they get the OR certificate. So you take this class and then the next one, the 452, 552. And then there's a couple other core classes that you probably already will be taking if you're getting your master's here in mathematics. So the OR certificate is rather easy to get. It's not another master's, it's like between the BS and MS degree is our certificate. So many folks do that. If you've taken these two OR classes, again, it's pretty easy. There's not much else you have to do that you're already doing with the degree. So check it out. If you got questions, again, talk to me or Alex or Lee in the graduate program about the certificate. All right, I think that's it. I'm looking forward to a fun semester. I think it's going to be a really good time.